Everybody. It's Jordan and CJ, the Crohn's and colitis veterans, coming to you live. Appreciate you joining us. If you like and support what we do, subscribe, like us, join the Crohn's veteran community. And today we're talking about kind of working and making money and living with IBD. I think it's a good topic. CJ, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing today? My fatigue has actually gotten better. I did have spouts of fatigue, but nothing like the draining fatigue I had yesterday. Like that was just overwhelming. Today was just like, oh, I'm a little tired. I can power through it, and that's what I did. What about you?
Good.
How
Yeah,
you
well, I
feeling?
said happy to hear you're feeling better. I'm feeling good. I one of the things I realized last night is that like I said, I'm still trying to get settled into my new place over here, and there's I use like a Google Assistant like in my room to like do all the various stuff or whatever, but even alarms and things. But I need like an actual clock in my room, and
Mm.
so like a digital clock or whatever, because like 3 in the morning, I need to go like, oh God, where am I? And then like look at the clock. Okay, I still have
Oh,
time.
you just like turn over. Oh, it's three. All
Okay,
right.
good, okay, good. And
Yeah, that's that
but
is definitely a must, brother.
yeah, so otherwise, you're like, ah, okay, it's like light outside. Is it, is it seven? Is
Like
it
you'll
10?
get scared like me. Like it'll be like 3 a.m. You'll hear birds chirping. You're like, oh crap, I overslept.
Right. I remember like in a middle, I think it was like in middle school or something. I got up because I think like I had to be at the bus stop at like 5:30 in the or I had to be at the bus stop at 6:30 in the morning, and so I means I had to be up at 5:30, which or something like that when it was still dark outside. And so like I remember one time I got up, got dressed, like I took a shower, got dressed, got my stuff together for school, went downstairs, and my dad was like, "What are you doing, bro?" It was like 3 in the morning, so 3 in the morning.
That's hilarious.
Like oops. So but I've actually um been going to work every day with Crohn's symptoms daily, the all the stuff that I've talked about before. um chronic diarrhea, like just upset, just fatigue, like we were talking about the other day. And just all the symptoms on a Pepto bottle type thing, just kind of living with that. And so I've been doing that for about, this is going on since it was in 2009, so I guess 11 years, right? Or something like that, or 12
How
years.
was it at the beginning, like when you first started working, where and your symptoms were bad?
Not fun at all. I was working at Cox Communications at the time, and that was actually a pretty fun company to work with. I just didn't, just being on the phones was something that could have been better, type thing. But my job at the time was like tech support. So I was fixing people's phone, cable, internet, all that kind of stuff, and people's houses and stuff. And so people were always yelling at me about like watching football games and things not working, and like just cursing me out and stuff. And there's a couple things I had at the time. So I was still in the Air National Guard at that time in Nebraska, and so I had two jobs pretty much. So I was Air National Guard, and I was working at Cox, and so I was cursed out. I was cursed out during the week and called sir on the weekends and all that. And so it's kind of surreal. But the symptoms um, just made like really having at the time been having empathy and compassion for people's channels flickering hard. And so because I was that was the year that I had the surgery year. So I was at Cox, and so my stomach was just tore up from the floor up, and I was just in agony every day. And so I remember I would have my head down on my desk with a headset, with a headset in my head, and people, and just almost gritting my teeth and just gritting in pain, and just talking to people about how they wanted somebody to come out to their house and in snow to fix their cable.
Yeah,
And so
people don't understand what other, workers have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. They don't know like their health or anything. They
no,
just know that they're
yes,
working and they expect
right,
them to be healthy.
right. And so I would say to to anybody listening is that be kind to your customer service folks in your life, because it's part of their job to be kind and professional to you, no matter what they're going through. And so, yeah, and so I actually quit that job after my surgery because I was on FML, like short term disability, and FMLA and all these other kind of things when I was sick because I wasn't working. After a while, and then when I got back, that's because before I was just in searing pain every single day, and then going to work, and then after that, it was like all the problems that I have right now, and so but it was brand new at the time, and so that I just the combination of this, people like this cursing at me and yelling at me and all that stuff and and just having all these new problems, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I actually quit that job, and that was like for me at the time was a big deal because you know
Stress to go straight to your gut.
yeah, I actually for me to quit a job was like not done lightly, type thing. And so but I just couldn't do it anymore, and so I think I worked at a car dealership for like a hot second, and then I got another job at like an outsourcing company. And so yeah, so I just been working through it, man. Like I was probably maybe like 3 months, 4 months of not working, but that was because I was literally incapable of doing so. And
I
actually, when I went,
I commend you, bro, because
let's see,
it's not an easy feat, especially with IBD.
no, it's not. No, it's not. I can't even describe what I've been through.
Like I remember when I first started my journey, this was like before I was officially diagnosed.
Hmm.
I was starting to get symptoms of a sense of urgency. I was still having like blood and stool, a little bit of blood and stool, some mucus, some diarrhea,
Hmm.
and I was working security at the time, and I was just it was an easy job, honestly. You just sit there or sit in your car if
Right.
I was in like a different site, like a construction site or whatnot. But when I'd have to go to the bathroom, I'd just get up and go. But as my symptoms got worse, I remember I finally got the colonoscopy, finally got
Hmm.
diagnosed, and I was still working and going to school at the same time. And it got to the point where the sense of urgency picked up, and it was like the multiple bathroom visits at the time, and it was just like, if you don't go right now, you're gonna shit yourself type of sense of
Hmm.
urgency. And I was just
Hmm.
like, oh, this is bad. So
Hmm.
what I would try to do is like I was on a construction site and I'd just try to park next to the porta potties. So like if I had to go, I just get out my car and just run. um, but I remember one day that I went to go get my first it was my first Remicade injection. And
Hmm.
then I literally had to work overnight that day, and I was on site, and I started to feel itchy on my legs. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So like I pull down my pants, and then I see like these big like hives like on my legs, and
Oh no.
I'm like, this is not normal. And at the
Hmm.
time, I called the people. I was like, hey, I think I'm having an allergic reaction. Um, I don't know what to do.
Hmm.
And before I called them, I called the doctor. And I was like, hey, I have like these red spots, and then like it's really itchy. And they're like, oh, you're having an allergic reaction. We suggest that you just like get out of work and go take Benadryl and like go rest and whatnot. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna call my job and let them know what's going on. And they're all like, oh, you have to wait so we can find you coverage. So those fucking assholes had me sitting there for at least 2 hours. 2 hours. And I was just like, bro, I'm having a fucking allergic reaction. I could have literally died in those 2 hours. I don't care. And I was just like, I literally told them, I called them like 2 hours later. I'm like, yo, I'm out of here. Like, oh, you can't leave the site until we find you coverage. I'm like, yo, I don't give a
But
fuck. I'm leaving. I'm not going to sacrifice my health just because you can't find coverage. I was like, eat a dick. And then I just left. I never went back to that site again. And then
mhm.
that's literally the last day I worked that security job because they literally did not care, and I didn't care that they didn't care about me, so I just left it.
Facts, man. I mean, I would have done the same thing.
Like
And so, that's,
literally an allergic reaction. Like your boy, it could have progressed and got worse. I could have died. Let's be
I
real.
mean, the fact that you waited 2 hours, you waited probably little over 2 hours. And so
Yeah.
like, I mean, that's a lot, you waited. you know, you gave them 2 hours to find somebody, and they didn't find somebody. Yeah, I wouldn't lose any sleep over that.
Yeah, I did not.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
happy to leave that job. I never went back. And
yeah,
then they called me 2 weeks later. So you haven't been like on a site in 2 weeks, blah blah blah. Would you like to continue? I was like, nah, I'm not going back. I'm done. I'm just gonna go turn in my stuff. And then I went and turned in my stuff. But recently, I want to say the last job I'm doing right now is it's like it's a patient engagement program.
hmm,
Um, and yesterday was like the first day or the second day, and that's when like the fatigue, like overwhelming fatigue hit me. I had like a whole bunch of pain. Um, and I had to decide if I was literally too sick to get paid that day.
right.
So I had to
And
make a big
that's,
decision. And you literally popped in my head. I was like, damn, so
mm,
this is what Jordan had to go through for all those years.
mm, mm.
I'm like, if Jordan could do it, I could do it. So
I
I
mean,
literally
it's,
sucked it up. I was like, yo,
yeah.
screw it.
Hmm. I mean, because that's the thing. Like, it's almost like the mentality of like, going to the gym. Like, once you get there, it's probably gonna be okay. But right now, ooh, I do
I
not want to
agree.
go.
I agree. That's exactly how I felt. I was like, maybe I'll start feeling a little better as as the meeting goes on and whatnot. But I try to stay hydrated, chug the electrolytes, try to maintain positive attitude, and I ended up feeling better.
Good, good. Like, and yeah, I mean, so with this, I mean, with this job, I mean, I'm starting to learn that, I'm going to have, some more flexibility and stuff, and I think it's going to be very IBD friendly, very IBD friendly. So that's cool, and
Have
um,
Have you ever had like have you ever told your job that you had IBD?
yeah, I did, and so because I mean, for several years, I did not do that. And so, because this is pre Crohn's veteran type of thing. Crohn's veteran, after Crohn's veteran came into being, I stopped caring. I just tell everybody, I almost tell everybody in the street that I meet, hi, I'm Jordan, I have Crohn's type thing. And so, but, but at probably a couple of jobs ago, the last big job I had, because I was on a short contract before this one. And so the one I was at for like 4 years, I was there for maybe 3 years before I kind of said, you know what, I'm not 20, I'm 30 something. This is getting old, and so I'm tired. And
After a
so
while, it just gets
I
it's
mean,
exhausting. It's
when I was just
exhausting
telling
trying to
you,
hide it.
yeah, exactly. When I was telling you like that, am I too sick to go in? And the answer is yes. But I still went in because if I don't go in, then I can't pay myself and my family and pay my bills and all these things. And
And
so
then you
like
can't pay for your medication too.
exactly, then I don't have insurance, and then because all these things, and so I actually did an Americans with Disabilities Act, like accommodation for Crohn's disease, and so so that was an effort between my boss and my boss, the regional president, um, the my doctor, um, the HR manager, like maybe even some people at corporate. It was a thing, but but I guess it was like they had to legally accommodate you, reasonably, and so like and so I was like the fact that I could not work from home, was a no go. I had and so I had to be, so I was able to get 20 hours a week to work from home, and then but interesting enough is that that happened, and like a combination of things happened, like COVID happened,
Hmm.
and then so I was at home, and when COVID happened, and then I my job was to fix all the IT problems for a lot of people, and I was kind of the first line of support for about 750 people. Had my cell phone number to call me to fix their stuff, and I and it got down to a point to where I didn't have much to do. And so, and for that reason, now that we know through the mentors that we have, the whole exchange of value, be valuable, all these things. And so, if you're not, if you're not, if you're not, providing that,
Value.
you know, yeah, that triple your salary or that quintuple your salary value, which is what you should be doing. Um, that if you're not doing that, which is what happened to me, you're going to lose your job. And
Hmm.
so, but these are, so this is why you mentally learn these things from people, right? So like, but because I was thinking at the time, well, if I could just close all these tickets and and help all these people, then everything's fine. But if you do that too well, then you kind of like, what do I do now? And that's then you don't have a job. And
That
so
that doesn't make sense because you're actually doing the job, but you're doing it too well. You know what I mean?
yeah,
They
that's
should be
literally
paying you more.
that's happened to me twice, CJ.
That's ridiculous. Oh well,
Twice.
you finished everything you have to do. We're gonna assign you more work.
No, yeah, instead of signing me more work, they let me go. And so,
That's wild.
hmm and so,
They were just
yeah,
looking for a reason to let you go, bro. Honestly, you do
yeah,
your job too good. You're fired.
yeah, like it was like low hanging. I mean, they low hanging fruit. That's what it felt like. Just low hanging fruit on the spreadsheet type
Yeah.
thing. Just business type thing.
Do you feel
You know,
like your job would be easier if, your employees knew that you had Crohn's and they actually provided accommodations for you?
yeah, I think. Well, I'm gonna. I'm bringing my peanut butter and mug to work type thing. And so, and so, but the idea is that yeah, people are gonna know. I'm not gonna hide it. You know, if the people are. I mean, because it's. I think the way this place is going to be structured, it's not. I mean, I'm going to be able to work from home sometimes anyway. So I mean, so it's going to be like very accommodating and prone to a point to where unless I have to go to the hospital or something like that, or or start getting infusions again or something like that, I really don't see it being a thing in the way that I just don't. Yeah, I'm actually pretty grateful that it's going to be just more flexible. Like up and until now, it's been like 2 weeks off for the entire year, like literally, and so or zero time off. And so
Mm,
imagine having zero, no paid time off and you have Crohn's disease. Not fun.
that's not. What happens if you got to go get an infusion or your medicine
That
or
means you
tested
get.
or labs?
Yeah, you can. Of course, you can go. No one said you can't go, but that hour or two is unpaid.
Hmm, that's rough.
Mhm. It is rough. And he had, and there's dudes at the the hospital job I was on a contract with, and they had of course kids and lives and stuff to do and stuff like that. And there, so you're gone like a lot. And I was like, man, that sucks because it's like it doesn't matter how well you get paid. If you start missing an hour here, an hour there, over and over and over again, your stuff dwindles. So 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 yeah. So I guess it's you just gotta. So yeah, so people out there with IBD and Crohn's and colitis and stuff, try to seek out very IBD friendly organizations, ones with very good paid time off programs, ones with the work from home situations, ones that getting an ADA exception or accommodation is not like it's not going to get you retaliated against, you know, in a passive, like in a way that you can't, guard against, So I would, so just in my own experience, I don't regret doing that at my job, but part of me thinks that led to me that it's like that I needed it, but at the same time, like not being in the office, like out of sight, out of mind thing. So it's like I don't know. So I'm happy I'm in an environment where that's not a big deal.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
How long um do you think people should wait if they decide to, hide it from their job before they come out to their job?
Yeah, after the probationary period. If there's any kind of probationary period at your job, you know, do if if your symptoms are at
Flaring, if
after
they're flaring.
yeah, I would say this, after you get an offer letter, after it's confirmed you're starting on Monday type thing, then bring it up. After all the interviews, the background check, the drug test, the fingerprinting, whatever you got to do, the duck walking, the backflips, the cartwheels, and whatever you got to do to get the job.
After the
Like
contract is signed
yeah,
and you're
after
on
the
the
contract is
job.
signed, like yeah, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead. So like it's great to be here. You know, here's my office, awesome. I have Crohn's disease, and that kind of thing. So that's, or I have colitis. So that might be, especially if you need. That's a situation where like like you're working on like a factory or something. To where breaks are like really heavily regulated. To where you can't kind of move up and walk around, at your own leisure, which is a lot of people. Um, and so that kind of case, I would the same thing. After you get the job, say on the first day, you know, this is what I need, and if you can, bring paperwork with you that so answer have all questions answered before they're asked.
Yeah, don't wait, because that'll just make it worse. Because they'll be like, so why didn't you tell us like in your first week or anything?
Yeah, yeah.
And they'll use
I
that
mean,
against you and probably fire
yeah,
you.
yeah. I would say that and for maybe some other positions, maybe after they have a probationary for 90 days. But just to make sure that you actually have the job. But that's something specific. To me, the average person, after you've secured everything, because you don't want to prejudice yourself, or you don't want to talk yourself out of a job. Before you get it.
That's true.
So and so but at the same time, is you're legally protected. And so once you have the job, you can start having conversations because now they like it.
For HR, what's good? Hey guys, Jackson Impact. Oh, what's up?
Oh, Angela, hey, hey.
What's good, Angela?
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate that. I really do.
Dang, I forgot what I was gonna say. Um, dude, I'm having
uh,
brain fog. Skip
it's
me.
okay. Um,
I'll come back to it.
we're talking about just yeah,
IBD
like
and working.
yeah, working and when to tell your employer. You're saying like yeah, we're talking about like when to employer like and not and when to I'm kind of saying maybe you might want to wait a little bit, but that's definitely case by case basis. But for the average person, it's when you have actually secured that position, um, because maybe you know um, maybe good for the soul to share, to kind of share what you're going through, but it all needs to be done at the right time.
When do you talk to HR about it, or
HR,
do
yeah,
you talk to HR about it?
yeah. I mean, it's like you would talk to HR about it if you need to, if it actually impacts your life. To the point to where if you get two 15-minute breaks a day, but you actually need four type thing, you need to be talking to HR. And so or your supervisor too. But yeah, but I would talk to HR. Oh, you already, because a lot of jobs have you talk to the HR, some kind of HR person before you talk to your manager. And so that's just kind of a two interview thing. The first interview is with HR to make sure you're qualified for the job, and they usually have you talk to the actual hiring manager um, for whatever you're doing and stuff. Um, and so I would maybe you can maybe ask what their policy is. It's like, hey, um, now I may have a need. You could say, dang, I don't know, man. I would say like the first day that you're there, and you have a meeting with HR, that kind of thing. Hi, does anybody have any questions? Hi, yeah, my name is CJ and I have colitis and la la la. But that's only if after everything you've heard. Yeah, this is not going to work for me. I'm gonna need an accommodation or just an exception to it.
Okay.
But if that's not if you're in a position to where you can kind of move about and do as you please and no one's bothering you, you still get your work done, everybody likes you, and you make a lot of money, then bringing it up is entirely up to you.
Okay. So I want to ask a mental health question since Angela's in here. So how was your mental health? Um, let's just say versus when you didn't tell your job that you had IBD versus when you told your job you had IBD. How was your mental health?
I would say, it was a relief. Mm, my mental health. living with IBD and Crohn's and not being able to tell people because I feel like by doing so, it's gonna have a negative impact. You know, definitely, um, definitely have a thing about mental health because it's an invisible illness. Everybody thinks you're fine, and if you're not fine, then I don't know. It's just terrible. I overcompensated. I never called in sick, so my so because of my yeah, and because of my mind that I just thought that if anybody thought I was, if anybody knew how sick I was, I wouldn't have a job anymore. And so after telling my job that that I did that I yes I do have Crohn's and or no, not only do I have Crohn's, but this is the way I do things is going to have to change. It was really kind of digging deep, and that's not something I did lightly because I knew that there was a very real possibility that this is going to bite me in the butt.
So,
That like no like I mean it's something I did feel better. I felt like it was the right decision to do because I was like, man, this, and I did feel better, and kind of like more advocating for myself and and sending kind of this is what I need and also and then kind of the future like maybe finding more situations. It's kind of like just branding and podcasting, entrepreneurship stuff that I'm trying to create a lifestyle that's like under my control a little bit more flexible, and so I don't know. So I did feel better, but but since then I'm feeling even better.
that's good.
And so
So, do you know if there are any organizations out there that can help people with IBD find jobs?
no, I do not, and and if there's not something for that, there should be.
I agree.
And so um, yes, there should
Angela, do you have any
be.
questions about IBD and working and maybe some mental health? If you do, let us know.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to hear your thoughts if you're still hanging out. And so, yeah, man. And so it's definitely been almost a tireless journey and grind to just to not have to be so to be able to go
Sneaky.
to yeah to be myself at work to be able to be myself completely and still be able to contribute and be of value and do everything I'm supposed to be doing there. And also just trying to get literally better jobs, like better jobs, just to where in IT or whatever, so where I'm not getting like no time off and where I can move about and be independent and no one's really bothering me and stuff like that. As long as just kind of some grown folk stuff, like what I have to do to actually get to get to a point to where I can be I can be trusted, to do what I'm supposed to be doing here. And so I feel like
So,
I'm making progress.
you recommend people, take your paid time off, take your sick days, take your
Oh
vacations.
yeah.
Don't try and
Oh,
hide it. Do
I
do
do.
all that stuff, all right,
I do
John?
have this. I do have this advice though. If you ever take paid time off, if you ever take vacation or do this stuff, never leave any of your coworkers holding the bag while you're gone. Always make sure there's no surprise phone calls or work waiting, or there while you're gone. That's just not really related to IBD or anything, but that's that you just don't want anybody to you take all your PTO, but do it in a way that people don't they're like, oh yeah, he's fine, he's having a good time, he rocks because all the stuff is done.
Okay.
You know, that's my advice to any of the working stiffs out there. Um, but yeah, yeah, I'm a big believer in taking all time off myself. Like much like it's there for your it's
It's there for a reason.
it's
I
there for a
mean,
reason. It's there for a
don't be
reason.
so scared that, you don't take it and it just goes to waste. Like you're literally
Yeah,
slaving yourself for a
you know,
job that could just
or
fire
fear,
you at any time.
yeah, or fear of missing out. Yeah, like don't work yourself to death for a job that will replace you tomorrow. After you're dead, type thing.
Yeah.
And so like just work work smart. You know, um, yeah, but yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I would tell people that um yeah, that that have IBD when they're looking for work. Um,
Angela said that she has no question, but support from Department of Rehabilitation may be a support with people who have chronic illnesses or disabilities.
mhm. It would be awesome to talk to somebody that from one of those organizations about how they help people.
Would
Right.
it would?
You
Yeah, we
know,
we had we had 30 minutes, bro.
cool. All right. Well, that's I wish I had a little applause sound, but right. And so but but yeah, I mean, so yeah, working with IBD is no joke. There are a lot of people that they know that are unable to work, and so I am grateful for every day that I'm able to do what I can do, and that's kind of the part of the reason too is that like I would go to work every day. It's like, well, man, for other people, I'm kind of doing this for people a little bit, like just
It's a real struggle because some people don't have, the option to not work because, they have to get a
breadwinners.
job so that they can pay their insurance, so that they can pay for their medication, and they
Right?
can get the help they need to get better in order to, it's like a vicious cycle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is, it is, it is, and so I mean, but that's about our healthcare system and all that kind of stuff too. I mean, so I mean that there's a lot of improvements to be made for that too. And so but I to me like to the people that are out there working with IBD, like hats off to you, much respect to you. I can definitely empathize, and CJ can too. With what you go through, and so just know that if you want to talk about it, you got a couple of guys here that that care about you, and and I want to hear your stories, men and women, and everybody in between. We care about everybody, want to support everybody, and want to share their IBD stories. And again, if you like what we're doing, like, subscribe to our YouTube page. You can contact, me via email at jordan@crohnveteran.com. You can hit up CJ at cjcabrera at pilatesveteran.com. And our website is crohnveteran.com. We're on Teespring. We're um, changing our merch store. I've made some progress on that. We're gonna have hats and a lot of cool stuff on there. The hats are already done, so I'm just making progress, just working on some other stuff to make it awesome. And then and we are also on all the podcast platforms. We're episode 46. Check us out, and thanks for supporting us. It'll help us grow.
So Angela said they can help find jobs. I agree with securing the job and then clarifying diagnosis and schedule doctor's appointments. Example, I'll wait until I have my routine 6 weeks appointment and approach it like it's a pre-scheduled vacation day every 6 weeks. They usually understand if it doesn't interrupt job responsibilities.
Facts. That's why it has to be a reasonable accommodation. Because whatever you're asking, can't impact you or anybody else's job. And so,
Yeah.
in a negative way. Thanks, Angela. I appreciate that.
Thanks,
And
Angela. Appreciate that too. But,
cool.
that's it.
That's it.
Hopefully
Yeah,
next time we'll have an interview. Um,
yeah. Working on that. Thanks for joining.